I'll never really forget that day because it was such a shock.
To be honest, it was like he kicked me in the balls.
I don't know if anybody's ready for it until the situation is there, right?
I came home and I cried quite personally to myself and thought, how am I going to do this? I wasn't just crying for him, I was crying for me.
It was crushing.
As much as I thought I might be prepared and okay, like Jan mentioned, it's still a kick to your gut.
It hit me like a big slap in the face. Sorry. I had heard at least that being gay was a choice you made. And so that's what I believe.
I didn't choose if I was to be half Mexican or to be half white or to be really skinny, and so I wouldn't choose to be gay. I didn't choose to be gay.
It wasn't a choice. There's one day that he told me, Mom, if I could like girls, it would make my life so much easier.
Even in elementary school, I knew that I didn't like girls in that way. Like in the way that Disney, says we should like girls, or that's just what you see on TV in general.
Being gay is not a choice. If you think about it from the other perspective, if you were to ask somebody who is heterosexual, did you choose to be attracted to the opposite sex? Was that an actual choice that you were making at some time in your life? They're going to say no, that's not the case. It's something that they've always felt, that was just part of them.
I just remember with him struggling with the sin part, with his religious upbringing.
I never personally felt that him being gay was a sin. And there are so many other churches, there's so many other people that it is a sin to them. And I worry about what did they think?
Religion can be really tough for families when a child comes out. And that's because there are some religions that do view being gay as a sin. But sometimes it's helpful for parents to know that not all religions agree with this. And in fact, there are many religions that embrace all people regardless of their sexual orientation.
Some churches say that being gay is a gift from God, and they really celebrate these relationships. Other churches say that homosexuality is a sin, and still others are really struggling with where they stand on this issue. But even the most conservative churches, those that do view being gay as sinful, have issued strong statements telling parents that they must support, love, and embrace their children.
One wants to make sure that message of love that we teach in congregations, love your neighbor as yourself, that's a message that holds families together, whatever the issues are.
Christians and all people of faith show their love not by making access to God and to good exclusionary, but to seek to be inclusionary, essentially to make the table of the Lord, as we say in the Christian church, available to everyone. And when we don't exactly know what to do, then let's err on the side of putting more chairs at the table and making the table larger and longer and bigger until everyone has a place.
All you need is your parents to love you. And if that's not there, because of you being honest about who you are, then you're lost. You either have to lie about who you are, or you have to lose everything that's meant the most to you your entire life. Sometimes it's a choice not worth making. Sometimes suicide seems like an option.
Obviously, parental rejection of any kind is bad for kids. But when parents reject their kids for being gay or lesbian, we see that those kids are at increased risk for substance use, suicide, low self-esteem, and depression. In one study published in the top pediatric journal, researchers found that children who were rejected by their parents for being gay or lesbian were 8 times more likely to attempt suicide and 3 times more likely to try illegal substances. So what we tell parents is that your actions now, more than ever, have the power to determine your child's future.
The sad thing is I was at a conference with a parent who did not give their child that message. And now, after the child's suicide, is speaking all over the country about, I miss my child.
He was extremely depressed, and when I realized that either my son was going to be gay or my son was going to be dead, it just clicked. And at that point, it was like there was no more, hey, do you think you're ever going to like girls? It didn't matter because he was alive and he was here.
I would say, don't do that, Trey, that's gay.
We'll go to places and I'll be, oh, you're not looking so straight today.
Sometimes parents make comments about the way their child dresses or acts, and usually they're doing that because they're concerned about them and they're trying to protect them. But what they don't realize is that their child experiences this as rejection. So when you say something that might be well-intentioned, like, if you didn't act so gay, maybe they wouldn't pick on you, you're in fact subtly suggesting that it's their fault.
He knew I had a problem with people knowing. He knew that.
My mom, her main concern was other people knowing. She did not want anybody else to know. That hurt me to the core.
My mom was like, I don't think you are gay. I just think that maybe you're going through a phase. She didn't say that maybe you're going through a phase, but she told me, I don't think you were born gay.
But you don't have to understand this to support your child. You just have to support your child.
When Trey said, okay, you guys are going to have to get over it, or, I'm just not going to come around. So we had to get over it. So we got over it because, we couldn't have that for not have him not coming over because of, he was gay.
There is a part of me that doesn't understand his side of the story. But I'm okay with it. I don't have to understand it. All I know is that I want my son to succeed, to be healthy, and to have a bright future, and to have a good friendship with me.
It's not always easy to do the right thing as a parent. Unfortunately, kids don't come with manuals, and during difficult times, it's especially hard to know what to do. But when parents let their affection show, express their pain away from their child, avoid rejecting behaviors, and do good before they feel good, we know that their children and their families can have happier, healthier futures.